Hey designers, welcome back for episode 39 of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Gaidusek, and today is our second snow day in a row in Charleston, South Carolina. Like what? I have a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old, and they had a half day the other day, a day off yesterday, Martin Luther King Day off on Monday, and now tomorrow, my husband and I are leaving for Vegas Market for the weekend. Going to be doing a really fun kind of like speed networking thing with interior design communities. So I'm headed out, but what a weird week. Like we have so much snow. I'm from Vermont. I left this madness for a reason. This is why my husband and I in 2018 moved down to Florida, because we were living in the Bronx at the time and we were like, no, what do we do with this flipping snow? Anyway, here we are again. But my daughter that was born in the Bronx is like in heaven. Like she was meant to be in the north. She'll probably go back one day. And she feels like we're depriving her of snow. And I'm like, girlfriend, you don't even know. You don't even know. My dad, growing up, my dad worked for the town and he drove a snowplow. So I didn't see him when it was snowing. Like snow meant dad's going to plow. Like that's what that meant. Christmas, like it didn't matter. He drove the snowplow. So snow always meant my dad's going to be called in. So it's different. And luckily now he's retired. He just retired the other day. Totally going off a tangent on this, but he proud of him. Proud of him. He just retired the last day of the year in 2024, and my mom is following him later this year, and then hopefully coming down here to move down to South Carolina to be closer to us because I miss them. So that'll be really nice. But anyway, chaos, just chaos. So my kids are literally outside playing in the snow right now. I do not know how long I have to record this podcast, but it's going to be a short and sweet one anyway. But also like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, guys, can you just nerd out with me for a second? Like for a few minutes here? Because when I try and tell my husband what I figured out this week, or my neighbor who's also my husband's cousin's wife was over yesterday before we took the kids inner tubing down the street on a golf cart because we live in the South. There's no flipping hills. So anyway, when I tried to tell her about this and my husband about what I've been working on, they're like, cool, Jenna. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, this changes interior design and visual communication. Like, yes, AI has been here. Yes, has been able to do that. But guys, I figured out this flippin' workflow that saves hours in our time, that we do renders and that we do conceptualization and like turning two-dimensional boards into like realistic renderings in a matter of minutes or seconds. Like the technology that has evolved in the past year, and now all of a sudden this week I'm like, this is the program that I've been looking for this, and then here's the other program that I've been looking for to do this, and I'm like, I have only asked for what I'm about to tell you guys is coming, because I get to beta test this. It's still not even out yet to the general public for some of these. But what is coming and what I'm about to like share with you guys in the next coming months literally changes everything in our workflow to simplify and save time and be able to focus more on not the silly little parts of the renders or the concept or like, the things that have notoriously taken us so much longer than they really should in our design process, where like you add those hours to your bill and they're like, really, for renderings or for that, like that's what I paid for? And it's like, yeah. Do you know how much time it took to render that model, or like find the right model or whatever that is? Like crazy. If you know my history with design, technology, all that stuff, and like just what I've been asking for in the world of technology for nearly a decade. Like, I'm not even kidding. Since I started eDesign Tribe, the community, okay, it's 2018 when I launched that, but this is probably like, if you go back to the beginning of when we started like posting about eDesign, these are things where I was like, why doesn't this exist yet? Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. Okay. First of all, I will be teaching all of this. Okay. Like, I have already got it down, ready to share like all the fun things. However, the programs are not released yet. So I'm kind of like waiting to be able to like, share everything all at once. So it's coming, but I'm going to give you a little teaser in today's episode as to like what is on the way. Okay. So let's start at the beginning with the concept, right? So for interior designers, if you are like meeting with a client and you have ideas and you want to like be able to show those in either proposal or presentation or design board or whatever that is, you've got ideas that you need to visually communicate with your client what you're thinking for the plan for that space. Now, every space is different, so the fact that you could like put everything that you need or every idea that you have into a picture, yeah, like you probably could get close, right? Like you could use generative AI and Visual Electric, Midjourney, like prompts. We're doing this week in the daily training for the second time. We're doing a new updated prompting text to imagery is what we're working on this week. But you could do that. Like, you could get a lot of inspiration. However, if you're creating a text to image prompt at this point in time, like, there's going to be wonkiness still, okay? And these programs would be, again, Midjourney, Visual Electric, that type of thing. And there's tons out there, but those are my two favorites. If you are creating imagery, like, it's not going to be entirely the space, okay? We can use programs that are stable diffusion based and, have basically harnessed like empty rooms and then like kind of staging stuff and then like taking kitchens and being able to like see it in a different color pathway or design board pathway, like whatever. We can do that. Like, those are things that we have actually been able to do for the past year fairly well. And they just keep getting better and better. But there's always this level of like, it goes off script, right? Like, it does what it wants. So a few programs that I have recently discovered have kind of blown me away in this space, because I have been exploring, all kinds of different programs, not just the ones that I teach. Like, I on the back end explore stuff every week. Like, I'm looking at new stuff. I'm seeing what's new in all the programs that I currently use, because everybody's trying to be the best and everybody's trying to one up and everybody's trying to add new features and, do all these different things. So I've had my favorites, and when a new one pops up, I share it with you guys. There's one that I will be sharing that after I created, and I did this twice to test to make sure that I wasn't losing my mind. After I created a like 10-minute or less, one of them took 5 minutes, and that's just because like my Photoshop is not showing all my tools for some reason. So I think I probably have a space issue on my computer. So anyway, it took a little bit longer, but I created like a sloppy, dirty design board. Okay, so actual products. My husband's office, I did this weekend a few things that I had already ordered just to give him an idea of like, hey, this is what I'm thinking for like your redesign, because he finally is letting me design his office. And that's what I was working on over the long weekend. So I showed him some ideas, and I actually turned a sketch in my terrible sketch. I'll show you in another training, but I cannot draw, and that's why I do what I do. But I took my terrible sketch and I turned it into a render. But I also took my like concept board that I did in Photoshop, and then I also did another one to test in Canva, just like really, really sloppy. And I converted those with this new program that I discovered into like a render, like using the products that were in my design boards, turned it into like a well-lit render of these spaces. Yeah, like minor details were changed, but like, guys, I have not found a program that has taken the exact thing and then like made it real it's always like changing stuff in the picture, or it's like putting different patterns, or it's doing stuff like that. So it's weird. But I found one. And I found one. Oh my gosh. It changes everything. Okay. So like I create a 5 minute or less sloppy 2D plus design board, which by the way, not renders. Renders are done in BIM software. They're 3-dimensional. You can walk around the stuff. You're not taking 2D images from a website and putting them onto a design board. Whoa. Sorry, my voice. You're not taking 2D images from a website, putting them onto a design board, and then that's not a rendering. That is a 2-dimensional board. But now we can take those boards and we can run them through these other programs, this one that I found, and it is real. So if this one is doing that, and that is actually like the only thing that this one is currently doing, they've got other stuff that's coming out soon, but oh my gosh, it has taken it and it is making 2-dimensional concept boards real with the products. Okay. So that's coming. I'm going to share tons of fun trainings on that pretty soon. But here is what I have been waiting for forever. Okay. And there's been a program out there, ArchSynth, that I've been talking about, that does this, where you take a image and turn it into a 3-dimensional model. Okay. So like a SketchUp or a GLB file, or whatever, from a 2-dimensional image. So let me again take a step back. If you're working on something on a website, and maybe you see like visual comfort chandelier or something, and you're like, I can't find the model, which I actually have some pretty decent models. Like, kudos to you, visual comfort. But most places don't have 3D models, right? And this has been like the bane of our existence, because for designers, we have to make your models. Like, if we want to sell your product, we've got to make your models, or go find them, or make something look like that model, which is also okay. We can apply textures and stuff. But I found a program that I've been beta testing that now can take a picture, or up to 3 pictures at different angles, and turn it into a fully functional model that I then put into my Doma, into my visualizer. And then I created VR walkthrough tours. And then I created images. And then I created all of the videos and everything that goes with this, right? Minutes. It took 5 minutes to turn that image into a functioning 3D model. Okay. Yes, there's caveats still, but it's scaling. It's not looking wonky and like cartoony and like it should be in a Roblox game. Like, these are legitimate models that I can use. And this is the first time that I have discovered a program that has the functionality, the measurements, the scale, and oh yeah, bonus, VR that you can either embed in your website or wherever you're doing your presentation, so that your client can just kind of scan and like look at it on the computer screen, like move it around, look at that model, but also scan their phone and literally see it in their room. God, I just can't. Can you please nerd out with me, guys? Can you please tell me in the comments, like, is your mind blown right now? Like, and when I show you this stuff, which I will be doing soon, you're going to be like, Jenna, stop it. Like, this changes everything, guys. The amount of time that we spend doing the things for the renders to show the visuals is just silly. Like, it always has been. Okay. And I am the first one to tell you that, like, we needed this. We've needed this for a decade. We needed this when I started learning Google SketchUp back in college. Like, we just needed to be able to take a 2-dimensional image and turn it into a 3-dimensional product model that we can render into a software. Okay. And the reason for that, by the way, is not only scale, but I am simultaneously, as I'm working on renders, I'm also building scaled floor plans. I'm doing reflected ceiling plans if I needed to. I can generate all of these at the same time from this one floor plan in one render that I'm doing inside of my Doma's visualizer. So not only am I creating 2 scale models, I'm dropping them into my renderings, where I'm also doing floor plans in a variety of different options, elevations that are just automatically generated because that's what the program does. I'm doing 30-second video walkthrough clips that I can create from my fly-throughs of my renderings. I can do VR walkthrough tours that are either embedded on my website for my client to like experience the space as it feels to scale. But it's also something that I could put on my phone, you know, or a client can scan that QR code, look at it on their phone, turn it sideways, pop it into one of these inexpensive phone VR headsets where you drop your phone into it and you can like stand there with the headset on and tour it. Got mine on Amazon a couple years ago and it's awesome. You don't need an Oculus or anything like that. It is cost effective and easy, but also embeddable on your website or in your project where they could just tour it on any device. It doesn't have to be a VR tour. So all of this I'm doing at the same time, right? But now we add this other level of, okay, cool. Here's the model. You want to see it in your bedroom? You want to see that bar stool at the kitchen counter and see how it looks? We can do that now. Everything is connecting. All of the programs, everything is like making sense now. Everything is getting more defined and cleaner so that we can actually do these things that we have been requesting for so long. Now, none of this, if you've heard what I've been saying here, none of this replaces what interior designers are doing, okay? This cuts out on all that crap that we don't want to do or that we hire out because it is so tedious with the damn 3D models. Like if we had just had these models from the manufacturers, which I get, like it's an investment. If it's not a stocked item all the time, like I get it. Why would you do that? But now there's no excuse for people to be able to have the model in their space and create such an immersive experience. And to be honest with you, if you're not doing these types of things, and when I show you these things, you're gonna be like, well, yeah, like why wouldn't I offer this? You know, you will be left behind. And I hate to be that doomsday person, but like if you're giving us a 2D board that you made in Canva, like that was, it's been done. Like we're done with that. Okay. We are so further evolved that like, I mean, you could just ask like Google, you know, for a design board. You could ask anything for a design board with specific products on it now, and it can generate it. Like, yeah, you can reverse image search and you can find look-alike products and stuff like that. But we now can elevate beyond the parts of generative AI. So, like, you know, what you can ask for, or just anybody on the internet can ask for through one of these AI models. Now, designers have the power to add AI in a way that really makes sense into their visual workflow. Like we've had it, you know, back end transcripts, all that stuff for a while now. Like that's a totally different component. But I'm talking about the visuals now where like it makes sense to use them. And if you're not enhancing things that you're already doing to, you know, create better looking 2D boards, bring them to life, get some lighting in there, you already did it. Why wouldn't you just run it through an enhancement tool and like make it look more real? You know, of course, always with the caveat, hey, this was, you know, diffusion that I used to bring this to life. So there's going to be wonkiness on it. But before we move on to the render phase, I just want you to see, like, get an idea for all the collections of products that I put together in this room scene, how it could potentially look before I go and I go render it, which now creating the 3D models is no problem at all, right? Like, so now we can create those models, drop them in, real life stuff. Guys, I just like, I cannot wait for you all to have these tools and to be able to like have a fully functioning, elevated, and I, you know, AI word, but like seriously elevated beyond your competitors, beyond what AI is doing, beyond what Google searches and ChatGPT and Dolly is doing. You know, like you now have capabilities to immerse your clientele in the designs that you are creating on a next level that is not going to take you hours. It's actually going to cut down time to be able to do this workflow, which is mind blowing. So, like, I cannot wait to share this technology with you guys. I will, of course, be sharing a little bit of it through the daily and kind of like some different things, but it is kind of a more intricate workflow that I'd like to go through. So I'm planning on how I want to deliver this information to you guys when it's ready. You know, is this, do you want to explore this as a live workshop with me where you can ask questions? Is this something that you want to just like go through some modules and learn? Do you want to learn little pieces here or there like we do in the daily where it's like 20-minute or less, up to date AI video, you know, trainings every single week? I'm curious how you want to learn about it because it's extensive. I mean, like what my example is for you, I created products. Like I designed products to test this. So like I used generative, AI tools, and I created images of products that don't exist yet, created 3D models of those. Now I can go talk to some brands and be like, hey, here's some ideas that I had. Can we make these types of things if I wanted to? Or, if you're doing print on demand or anything like that. Now your visions have never been able to become reality more so than they can right now. And I'm not just talking like the images that you can create. Like if you can sketch and if you can draw, we can bring those sketches to life. Like there's workflows for that too, to create prototypes, to create realistic images, to create scaled models. All of it, everything came together. Everything flipping came together, and I am like so pumped. I'm so pumped to share this with you guys. So if you're never going to comment on any of my podcasts, fine, but comment on this one. Tell me what you guys think about this. Tell me if you're excited about it. Tell me if you are concerned about it. I there's always a level of concern when AI advances. However, the tools and the technology that I'm talking about right now, these are designer or architect programs. Like these are not just things that somebody could just Google and go find, or like know even what to do with if they were to find it. So I don't worry about like mainstream consumers finding this and being like, oh, I'm just going to do this on my own. Like what I'm talking about now are tools for professionals, okay? And like time-saving tools that we have needed for years to help us to get more return on our hourly rate, basically is what it comes down to. Okay, so if you're a virtual assistant, if you do rendering, trust me guys, you're still good. You are still so good. If you're doing all that stuff, like now I have the technology to make it more efficient for you. Okay, take on more projects, spend less time rendering and modeling. Oh my gosh, like modeling for hours, right? So the technology is basically here. Stay tuned. Comment on this podcast. Tell me your thoughts about this. Keep listening. Go ahead and make sure that you are subscribing and following wherever you're listening to this podcast, because I will be sharing more information. I will have some of these tools and technologies and programs on so that I can interview these guys. One of which I will be going to meet with this weekend at Las Vegas Market. So also, if you're going to be at Market this weekend, I will be partnering with Interior Design Society, and not Interior Design Society, also partnering with them here in Charleston, but Interior Design Community to do this roundtable with all these different showrooms. I'm sorry, I'm saying roundtable, but we all rotate, and it's like a speed networking thing. So come talk to me about AI if you're going to be there, and go ahead and sign up. If you're not going to be at Market, I'll see you at KBiz. I'll be at KBiz next month. I'll be at April Market at High Point, and tons of other things. So I'm sure I'll see you if you're not going to be there. But just super exciting time right now. And I cannot wait to get all this information out to you guys, to get some demos out to you guys, and get this in the hands of designers, because what I have discovered here for a workflow, I literally did all of this in like 4 hours, from product design to rendering to VR walkthrough tour to floor plans to video to enhanced 4K images that I got from my rendering program to make them look realistic, like upscaled. Guys, technology is wild. I love it. Come nerd out with me. I'll talk to you next time. Have a great day.